Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on when you are watching this. You are watching the Rangers Journal, and this is the Lowdown with me, Doug. Looking to talk about our next opponent, Aberdeen, in the SPL. Rangers are coming off an excellent result against Athletic Bilbao in our Europa League quarter-final match at Ibrox on Thursday. It was a tough game, obviously going down to 10 men after just 12 minutes. Means there'll be a lot of heavy legs going around the squad, and that will potentially have a heavy bearing on the team that comes out against Aberdeen tomorrow. Um, I think we should be making a bunch of changes for this game. Obviously, as much as we say league games are meaningless, we want to have a good result against Aberdeen. We don't want to lose, as it will also hand Celtic the title. So it's is arguably still an important game that we want to win. And just push back that title procession for them as long as possible. But at the same time, we have to prioritise the second leg. We have a real chance of being able to get through that, as difficult as Bilbao are as a team. They're struggling to score goals, as they showed in that first leg. And our away form in the Europa League this season has been excellent. Wins against Malmo, Nice, and obviously Fenerbahce. So a real tough one going into this game. So if we look at the form of the two sides, Rangers obviously 2 wins in our last 5, and that good battling draw. The disappointing 2-0 against Hibernian, and obviously the loss against Fenerbahce, albeit that turning out ultimately for the good. Aberdeen have been having a decent time of it. They've got 3 wins in their last 5, a draw against St Johnstone and a draw against Dundee United. So they're kind of back on form after having a period when we last met them where they were sort of off the boil. Obviously, they had an excellent start to the season with numerous wins in a row, setting records for them. But it dropped off horrendously for a period of time. But they have picked up again, so they will be a threat going into this game. Obviously, they always up their performance when playing Rangers anyway, due to the perceived rivalry there. They're currently sitting at the time of recording in 5th in the league, though that is partly due to the current result at Dundee United. So that may or may not have changed when this actually goes live. But 32 games, 14 wins, and minus 4 goal difference. 49 points. They're obviously looking to try and solidify that third place, and getting 3 points against us could go a long way to doing that. They are in a battle with Hibs in the sort of the best of the rest. So they will have every motivation going into this game. In terms of our head-to-head record, we do come out on top. Last game 3-0 in January. 2-1 to Aberdeen prior to that. Of course, we know in the October match where we really didn't get up for that game. But then we've got 2 wins out of the next 3 with a 1-1 draw back in November 2003. So Aberdeen do, as I say, prove to be a sticky team. They can get results when they play at their best. They do raise their game for these matches, but ultimately we should still have enough to overcome them. It will just depend, I think, on what team ultimately ends up being put out by Barry Ferguson. But before we get to our team, let's have a wee look at Aberdeen. So Aberdeen have been playing a 4-2-3-1 formation. They, as I say, have returned to form, fighting with Hibs for that third place. They lack a huge amount of depth, despite the manager being open to making changes to the team from the bench. But the quality that comes on isn't always on a par with what they start with on the pitch. So I wouldn't be too worried potentially about any like massive game changers. So they do have a couple of useful players. They will look to build their play through their width. They've got a couple of useful wingers there. The 3 attackers there have all contributed with goals and assists. I could have picked any one of them as a danger player to look at, as they have all been contributing, particularly when they're back on form. To get around this Aberdeen team, though, if we can build together some quick passing and movements, keep the tempo up, then that will be the key to playing around them. They can be a little bit static at the back, and if we're able to move the ball at the speed that I think we can, but that we don't always do, then we could get some joy there. But as I say, this is something I've been saying all season. We need to pick up the tempo in these games, but as yet we don't always do that. They are compact and non-direct in their play. They do occasionally look for set pieces, but they've not got any major players in terms of ball winners from that. But as I say, they will build largely through their width. crossing the ball and passing in. So that's what to look out for in that respect. Looking into some of the danger men for them. Also looked at a couple of players over the season, but I'm going to point out right now just Kevin Nisbet and Shaden Morris, two of their attacking players. Nisbet on loan, playing up front, has been getting goals for them. 9 goals and 5 assists from 26 games so far. He's got 17 key passes and 67% passing accuracy. So decent in their build-up play as well. As I say, their front attacking 3 are all kind of similar. They've all contributed with goals and assists, but I've picked out Shaden Morris, who just sort of changed it in terms of the highest numbers. 3 goals and 5 assists from him. That's from 32 matches. So, not great numbers in the overall state of things, but is picking up form and starting to play a bit better in this second half of the season. He's created 19 chances and has a 76% passing accuracy. So as a player, I think that could set up goals for Nisbet, and that's a combination that we want to look to keep quiet. In terms of Rangers, as I say, our starting 11 could really be anything. I do think we'll see changes. I've got us going back to a back 4 for this game, partly just because of the combination of missing centre-backs and centre-backs we want to keep fit for the next game. So I've kind of put us in a 4-1-3-2. I want to see us with an attacking team, as I say, to still go out to win this game. The big question really, I think, is just how many changes does Barry want to make? How many changes is he comfortable making and still think he'll have a strong enough team to win the match? I think Kelly continues in goal. He had such a good game against Bilbao that he's put his name in to keep the shirt. And to be honest, I think it's his jersey for the rest of the season now, unless he makes any major blunders. He'll play in this game to give him the minutes for playing against Bilbao in the second leg. If he continues to play well, then, as I say, the jersey really is there for him to keep. I think Tavernier will play because Tavernier always plays. And obviously he's the captain. Jeffrey is probably more likely to start, depending on if the injury rumours about Yilmaz were true. But I've got Jeffrey to start with this game, with Yilmaz the likely starter. And the next match he did well in that first leg. Proper, I think we should play because he's suspended for the next game. And then I would like to maybe see him bring back Enciala. Obviously, Enciala had a few good games, looked bright, looked like he was coming on to something, but then had that really bad match where we had to take him off at half time, but we haven't really seen him since. So I would like to see him getting back into the side. He may choose to play Suter, however, just to give him some minutes back in the team and to give him the momentum running into the Bilbao game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Proper and Suter. I would hope, however, that he will rest Balogun and keep Balogun so that we can play Suter and Balogun both in that next game. And then potentially, if he goes back to playing the back 3, you can have someone in there, maybe Tavernier tucking in, and he maybe ends up playing Jeffrey and Yilmaz in that next leg. We can bring Barron in to rest Raskin and keep him for the next game. I think we can bring in Bajrami, give him some minutes, see how he does. If Lawrence is available, I would play him. And then we've got Ross McCausland, who obviously came on in the other game. He can come on so that we can rest Czerny. And then I've got the front 2 of Egeman and Danilo. Dessers continues to be the first choice, and if that's going to be the case, then I would say that we rest him. I would like to see him and another striker potentially playing together, so that we can get a bit more support in those forward areas. But these two really need to stake their claim to try and make a mark on this team before the end of the season. Give the new manager something to think about. Give the current manager something to think about if our European trip continues. So I'd put in the top 2, have Egeman and Danilo both there, see what they can do together, see how they perform individually, give them the opportunity to stake a claim for this second leg, so that it's not a simple case of he just picks Dessers once again. In terms of the game changer, I'm going to put that down to Egeman. He has had a little bit of up and down form since his run of good goals mid-season. Obviously had a great goal in terms of the winner against Celtic. He's not featured hugely since then. He's in and out, but he does look bright when he comes on. He looked combative when he came on against Bilbao. He was able to hold the ball. And if he was maybe a little bit more disciplined overall, then I think he would be able to get that starting berth. Or if he was a little bit more clinical in terms of scoring frequency, then that top striker's position could be his. So again, if he can put in a really good match against Aberdeen, I think he gives Barry something to think about, because he does have qualities, particularly the hold-up play, that is really useful for European matches. He's got 10 goals and 1 assist in the league thus far. Obviously, he's got a handful of goals in Europe as well. So 72% passing accuracy, 74% tackles won. So as I say, that's the kind of combative and hold-up abilities he has to be able to help us get up the pitch. So if he has a good game, as I say, he gives Barry something to think about. So finally then, my predictions for this game. Looking back at the Athletic game, I predicted 1-1. We got 0-0, so right result, wrong score for that one. For this game, I'm going to predict 3-1 to Rangers. We're coming off a good game with the players having dug deep and really played together as a unit, as a team, shirking off some of that poor form at home. So hopefully we can take that positive energy into this game. Our away form is better. So hopefully we carry that forward, and hopefully we carry forward the solidity in defence as well, and cut out those goals. I do think that maybe it won't be perfect. As I say, we will potentially be making a lot of changes for this game, so Aberdeen maybe do sneak a goal in there regardless. But as I say, hopefully we get a nice comfortable game, comfortable performance that lets some of the alternate players get a chance to shine, rest some of the key players for the big game coming up, and it lets us roll into that match feeling positive. So that's all from the Lowdown today. As I say, the main thing I think is just get the victory tomorrow, so that it postpones the party across the city and gives us a bit of positivity moving into this next match. But ultimately, it's the Bilbao game that matters, and one eye, regardless of whether we want it to be, will be on that game from players and management alike. The players need to play. Any alternate players coming in, I want them to play well and give the manager a headache in terms of selections. Keep the pressure on the main players as well, so that they're playing at their best. And no more injuries. Make sure we don't pick up any more injuries or suspensions going into this crucial period for our European campaign. I'll be back again, obviously, Lowdown for that return leg, and then once our split fixtures are figured out. So do tune into that. Thank you to Off the Match I Go. Continue to be the channel sponsor. You can get 10% off by putting Journal 10 in at the checkout, offtothematchigo.co.uk. And do remember that we're also running a competition right now with Off to the Match I Go, where you can win signed Rangers merchandise. If you go to our Facebook, you can find that competition there. All you need to do is get a screenshot of you subscribed to our YouTube channel and of you following Off to the Match I Go on Facebook. Post those pictures in the comments and you'll be entered into the competition, which will be drawn when we reach 3,000 subscribers, which we are pushing towards at the moment. Thank you for tuning in. As always, my name is Doug. This has been The Lowdown. You're watching Rangers Journal. And do remember that every night is a Rangers Journal night. Thank you.